Hello, yes. Welcome back to a special Binding of Isaac edition of the Lil Res podcast, also known as Repentance is Enjoyable to Spectate podcast. Today I'm joined by Richard, our lovely standard co-host, as well as Ev, who will be supplying this wonderful Binding of Isaac gameplay to us. Yeah. So we can just get into it, Ev, if you want to start the run.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So for context, this is we're gonna be playing as Eden. Ev is gonna be playing as Eden. Eden is a character in Binding of Isaac who gets randomized stats and randomized items at the start of every run. And Ev is a big Eden streaker, is what we call it. So he's somebody who tries to win as many games as Eden in a row as possible. On this current streak, we're sitting at 14 wins. So if this run ends in a win, which it probably will,
the 15th run.
This will be win 15, and the record, which was last streak, is 213 wins, which from my looking online on the latest patch is actually not officially but unofficially the world record. So for the viewers at home, you are about to witness true mastery over the domain of Binding of Isaac. So that's where we're at. How are you doing today, Richard?
I'm tired. I am well. I've had 2 in-person days at the office, so that is always a little bit of unfortunate bombing there.
Yeah, that was a mistake. I could have been avoided.
Dude, Ev's on the. He's got an audience today. This is actually the first time you have like a non-us audience. It's not in real time.
That's true.
But somebody who's not us is gonna see this footage.
Yeah. No, this is a juicy shot.
Yeah. Hopefully
So
there's
just
no pressure.
Just doing a quick run assessment. Speed is like average-ish. Tiers are. How would you put these tiers as? Of like slightly below average?
I would say they're about average.
About average.
Yeah.
Damage
What's
is about
tiers?
average.
You want to say what tiers are? We're not gonna
It's
explain
just your-
every little
it's
thing.
just your
but
fire rate.
yeah,
How
fire rate.
fast you can attack. So your damage output is a combination of how fast you can shoot and the damage per tier. So
Yeah.
our damage is a little on the low end this run. Not too bad, but it
3.
takes 3 hits to kill these spiders, which makes it pretty annoying.
Wait, what's the low end for the Eden damage? 2.5?
The spectrum is 2.5 to 4.5.
4.5. Yeah, low roll.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. These are...
Unfortunately.
Wait, I'm looking at the stats now. So you got okay move speed, okay tiers, med damage, okay range.
Yeah, I mean, I would say everything is about a little under average, with the
Yeah.
exception of maybe tiers. So, not the best, honestly, but we'll sacrifice our champion luck here for a little bit of damage boost, which I will take at this point.
And then the cutest boss ever, Lil Plum.
Yep,
Yeah.
my favorite.
Wait, Rich,
he's the
what were you
mascot.
saying? Did you finish sharing how you're doing?
More or less. Just I'm tired from going into the office twice. And having long days. But I am well. So when I was out in the West Coast working East Coast hours, I had to be up at 5:30 a.m. every day because that's 8:30 on the East Coast time.
Yeah.
And I did that for 2 weeks, and it's kind of made me morning person pilled.
Yeah, you've been preaching the morning life.
Yeah, because I am notably a huge evening person, staying up as late as 2, 3 a.m. on the weekdays.
On school days.
On school days with pretty striking regularity, honestly. But I don't know. I've gotten in a couple morning workouts and like they have felt very nice. and I've felt very prepared for today. And I think I get more efficiencies in the morning than at night. For example, the gym is usually much less crowded, and I don't know. I hate that item.
What is this one? Decap attack?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. You throw your head, and then you have to
Pick
kind
up
of
your
wander
head.
around. Yeah, and then you can get it back after the item charges. But at the end of the day, it's just pretty garbage.
Wait, is it
Doesn't
like
really do
the
much
what is
for
it
you.
like the tainted forgiven?
The Forgotten, yeah, kind of
Yeah,
like
the
that
Forgotten
actually. Except that it comes with none of the good sides.
benefits.
Yeah, the benefits really.
Awesome.
So, but
I'm
lucky we
I'm
just
as
picked up a pretty powerful familiar right
Yeah.
now, so this will help our damage output quite a bit.
I'm a huge Seraphim enjoyer.
Me as well.
Wait, what does Seraphim do? Did it just copy your tears?
So as Seraphim, I actually don't remember the official name of this item. I don't think it is Seraphim. Maybe it is, but I believe it's a transformation. But this particular familiar does. It shoots basically Sacred Heart tears, which are homing and do a large amount of damage. So did you see that? We just two-shotted that guy and it homed onto him.
I see.
So now, yeah, that's basically why it's so strong. Is because you can kind of just. I mean, homing tears are
It's
just
just
on
a
average
good
very
damage
strong,
up.
and he's really it's just got strong damage. So it just makes our life a lot easier. And so yeah, so I would say it's really increased our power level substantially.
Let's go. All right. What was I gonna say? Oh, I wanna. I'm not a morning person, also, but the thing most recently that has made me consider doing mornings is pickleball, because a lot of pickleball is played in the mornings. Like a lot of, I guess it's just old people. Is that what it is? Oh, look at this optimization, you guys. Look at this. This bomb automatically explodes.
Ooh, I think I
All right,
missed.
well, maybe.
Go ahead.
the bomb explodes, but if you leave the room, it doesn't explode, and you can use it to check if there's a secret room in the room. This is what you get when you watch top level Isaac play. Anyways, pickleball. This is already a very hectic episode because we're trying to be on, but we're also watching Isaac at the same time. But anyways, pickle played in the morning. Yeah, there's like afternoon sessions and stuff, but if you want to play consistently, playing in the morning definitely seems like the play. So we'll see. But I'm gonna be gone for the next 2 weeks out of town, so I won't be able to implement any lifestyle changes until I get back. But time zone, whenever I go to a new time zone, I'm always like, maybe this is my opportunity to revolutionize my sleep schedule, because it's like,
Yeah,
you get it for free.
Yeah, totally. It's like a reset a little bit. You get a fresh start.
Yeah, so maybe when I get back, I'll do that. Yeah, and that's the reason we're recording these Binding of Isaac episodes too, is because for the banking, we need more episodes, and I'm gone tomorrow, and we need 2 more episodes. So that's 2 Binding of Isaac things. Money equals power.
I'm not really sure, honestly. It's
too hope. It's too,
yeah, like we don't have very much money right now. It's basically taking over a quarter of our HP, and with no real promise of an upside. I mean, honestly, we might take it just because it is a pretty strong item.
yeah.
And then we can just bank money. So you know what? Why not? We'll do it for the fans.
How much damage is it per coin?
So it actually scales.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the first like 5 coins, I think, or something like that, are the strongest, and then everything after that has diminishing returns.
It's like the tax bracket.
Yeah.
Exactly like the tax bracket.
How do we feel about that pulse worm? That might not actually be bad.
Yeah, I mean we can grab it and see what happens. I don't see why not. I like to pulse every now and then.
Does it stagger your shot speed? I've never seen you pick that up before.
I honestly can't remember. I don't pick it up often enough.
You don't know what it
I,
does.
No, I
think
just know it's not very good. I think it makes
Yeah,
it makes your. I
your
mean,
shots
see the
get
it's
big.
the wub wub. Yeah,
Oh, never
that's
mind.
what it does.
I
That's
thought
so
it was
funny.
I thought it was a shot speed up as well, which would have been nice.
No, it's a bit chaotic for me, so I don't
Yes,
like it.
I agree. I
But
agree.
the worms are like they're okay sometimes. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're fun. Sometimes they just don't do anything. That one I don't think actually has any practical applications. So
Like
not really the point
whipworm
of
is
grabbing.
oftentimes pretty good.
Whipworm is probably my personal favorite
What
because
does
it
the
actually has
whipworm
value.
do?
Yeah, it is a substantial shot speed up, so it makes your
Ooh.
tears go
They whip?
launching.
They go.
They whip.
And
Yo.
sometimes
sure
they even
do, man.
nay if you get
Sometimes
lucky.
they even. Yeah. See
Not the nay
Lento.
worm.
Oh, dude. Okay. Oh man, brain blast. Okay. Because I was looking at the agenda items at the start of the episode, right? And I was like, I actually don't remember what like half of these are, but in a beautiful what is the word I'm looking for? In a beautiful base. What? How do you describe when everything comes together? Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, one of the agenda items was bowling alone in the metaverse. We were talking about it right before we started recording, and we're like, what could this mean? I think I remember what this means, and the amazing thing is that we are in the perfect setting to discuss it.
Oh, okay.
So Bowling Alone is this book that was written in the 2000s, and it's about how this concept that the author calls social capital has been steadily degrading in the United States over the last, like, I don't know, it's like since the 60s or 70s, something like that. And what social capital is, and it's kind of obnoxious that he picked this term, because if you're in other fields of study, social capital is like a term that means something else. Like sometimes social capital is just used to refer to like this good standings / like trust that other people around you
Yeah,
have
that's
in
what
you and
I
stuff.
think of when I hear social capital.
Yeah. But what he means by social capital is like the infrastructure that supports trust in like a community. So it kind of is the same thing, but at like a much more macro level. So, like for example, the library is often cited as an example of social capital because it serves across a lot of different dimensions as a way to bring people together, bring resources to people, build trust in community, etc. And Bowling Alone is about how a lot of those things that support social capital have been decreasing over time. People engage in their community less. There's less resources engaged. Richard, you're talking about third places as a thing. Third places are basically like a form of social capital for like, I mean, I guess in a lot of different ways, but as things to spend time at. I don't know. I get what's the utility of the third place is supposed to be besides that it's like maybe you just don't want to be at home all the time. I think that's enough, but
I think that you could probably look more into it, but what would be some of the benefits of having a third place? Just a way to meet people that are outside of your typical social circle oftentimes. I don't know. I feel like they're pretty countless.
It's like one of those things where it's like there's a ton of reasons. It's not like there's one particular reason. So that's Bowling Alone. Bowling Alone, social capital, decreasing. Arguably no bueno. I think the author would say, yeah, I think it's not good that there's less of this. And then we're gonna get to Metaverse. So for like as a buzzword, Metaverse means like application / game where you can do anything, right? Like Facebook calling themselves Meta, or like Fortnite calling their like client like the Metaverse
Mm.
as like a buzzword. That's what that means.
Uh,
But like 2 or 3 years ago, I saw a tweet while Metaverse was like really hot, that had this kind of like alternate definition for what this person thought Metaverse meant. And he basically said, I think what the Metaverse actually is basically a concept of how much we value our online presence relative to our physical, corporeal presence. So, full metaverse would be where we value like our digital presence, our social media presence, whatever, like 100% more than our physical presence.
mhm.
And presumably on that sliding scale of like value real life versus value metaverse or value digital world, we're like inching towards metaverse. Like
Right.
a great example of this is how much people are willing to pay for video game skins. The number, the amount of money people are willing to pay on average on video game skins, maybe not in this economy, but in general, has like steadily marched up over time. And that's like an indicator of how much people value how they look aesthetically on the internet.
Right.
Because a long time ago, that was unheard of because people would say, oh, it's just pixels, who cares? But now there's like stake in that. So, okay, combining the two ideas now. I don't think that the internet or the metaverse or anything is a substitute for real life. But I think that there is probably a version, I think there presently is a version of social capital that is actually increasing thanks to the internet. And this Discord call that we join multiple times a week is a version of that. This is our digital third place social capital that we value as a thing to some degree, outside of like the physical world, that I think brings us the same benefits that social capital does. And so if you want to be optimistic about people spending more time online, maybe you can think about how certain social needs are being met. And I wouldn't even say being replaced, but like if it is indeed true that social capital is decreasing in the physical world, I don't think increased social capital in the digital world should be seen as like replacing the physical world. It's substituting what's not currently present or what is currently diminishing. And I don't think that's ideal, but I think it should count for something as like a good thing. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely does make a difference. And it's funny you mentioned that too, because yeah, exactly. Well, it's not a replacement. It does make a difference. And it is positive. And a study I saw recently that backs this up, and like you can joke about it for it being like pro like corporation pilled, which is honestly a fair critique or whatever. But studies have shown that companies that require employees to keep their camera on have higher retention rates. And even though, like, that actually makes total sense to me. I have had, listen, like, in my current role, pretty much every single...
better social capital than no webcam.
Exactly, yeah. And you get to see people's faces, and listen, I do think that there's a lot of toxicity behind it, but on my current role right now, everyone just kind of keeps their webcam on, and no one makes excuses when they have webcams off. They're just like, yeah, like I just don't want to do it all the time. But the default of webcam being on, and I have felt very well connected to my team, which is all around like America. And so I definitely don't like the study for what like people. I don't like what the fan base of that study is gonna be like.
Yeah, not to defend corporations.
Yeah, it's like saying you like a scene from Rick and Morty, and then all these annoying people chime in who are like way too into Rick and Morty, and you're like, no, like you're not getting the best take. You're not like getting the right takeaway from this, or you're not enjoying this like I am. But
yeah.
but so that makes total sense to me. And one other thing about the decline of social capital, I remember learning a bit about this. The rise of media and news, and like hearing about like social, like our serial killers getting like an increased amount of like news coverage and stuff like that, it led to people being less trustful of their neighbors, along with like a crime wave, I believe in like the 70s or something like that. And so I think that also contributed to the fall of people trusting other people, which led to like a decline in social capital.
Yeah. Rich, you should check out Bowling Alone at some point, because the author, I can't remember his name, but he goes over like a pretty impressive number of like different perspectives of looking at social capital. Like his conclusion is very holistic, which I think led a lot of credibility. One thing that people can like criticize him for, which I think is like kind of valid, kind of not valid, is a lot of things he cites as like forms of social capital are things that people are like, well, but I don't want that back. So an example is, and I'm not making any statements here, but he talks about how like church was like a very instrumental form of social capital, and he even endorses for like higher amounts of like spirituality being a good thing. Although he also says like, but people should also be more accepting and stuff too.
Right.
But like religion's just down, right? Like if you're if you're looking at the religion market, you should be shorting religion right now, just objectively speaking. And so people are like, okay, so the things he's saying like we're good are like things that I don't think are good. And I think that's valid, right? Like he also talks about just a lot of things that people would associate with like more conservatism and stuff, and he's not like a conservative, but he's just saying these are the things that traditionally gave social capital to the world.
Right.
But I think the part that's like a little too like what's the term when you're like, thing that's too pearl clutchy about that is that like just because those were good examples of social capital doesn't mean that they need to exist in the exact same forms now to be able to provide social capital. So yeah. Dude, when I was skateboarding, I have not been skateboarding for like 2 years, but when I was skateboarding, I had this whole theory in my head where I was like, I think skateboarding is social capital because there's this interesting thing about skateboarding, which is that if you want to do it, you need a place to do it. And if there's not a skate park near you, which a lot of people don't have easy access to a skate park, you have to get a little bit creative with where you're going to go, because there's a lot of conditions to the environment you skateboard on, right? Like you don't want a lot of pebbles and rocks around. You want kind of flat surfaces. You want certain like architecture so you can like do tricks or drills or whatever. You want like, curbs, stairs. If you can find like an interesting did we get Robo Baby?
No, we did not. But
How
we
did you
did get so Robo Baby is a different item, but we have Spider Mod, yeah.
I love Spider Mod. Anyways, sorry, I get so excited when I see stats on the screen because you don't get to see the HP usually.
How do you see damage?
Yeah. But so skateboarding, you have all these requirements, and the activity inherently encourages you to explore the place you live in and get creative with how you leverage it. And because things that are useful for skaters are going to be discovered by skaters over and over again, it also creates these recurring spaces where it's like, oh, I know this is a good spot to skate. And then you'll start seeing skaters there who are also skating because it's a good spot to skate at. And so in like a weird roundabout way, like skateboarding encourages reappropriation of spaces to turn into social capital supplying spaces. That's my skateboarding is social capital theory.
No, it makes sense. Wow, Evan, that was insanely lucky that you found the ultra secret room.
Yeah, they're actually, I believe, only separated by one room, so it's not like that crazy, but it is quite lucky.
That was crazy lucky. Now that you have Soul of Cain and the other item was Red Key, I was gonna say like corporate wants you to tell the difference between these two things. Aren't
Wait,
they
what
very
is Soul of
similar?
Cain?
Fair enough, but Soul of Cain is significantly better than
it is. It
than
is.
the Red Key.
What does it do?
Yeah.
Soul of Cain, it acts the same as Dad's Key, which means it opens anything. Actually, it's better than Dad's Key. I forgot about that. So see these red doors here?
Yeah.
It allows me to open up into the Stranger Things type.
And that's what Red Key does, right? Is it opens up the
Red Key only gives
Yeah.
you red rooms. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
see.
so the Soul of Cain does it opens everything. And in my opinion, the best use case for it, I mean, if you want to fight Mega Satan, it'll open the Mega Satan door.
Yeah.
But personally, I think the best use case for it is waiting for a boss challenge room, because it can open that for free.
That is
It'll
pretty
also
good.
tell you if there's secret rooms or not sometimes too, which is handy.
Oh, I mean, Dimble isn't bad.
Like it will show like an outline, like the red room outline for secret rooms.
No, it will not show it. So you can't share the same space. So that one did not have one. But if you look into another room, right?
You have the red outlines.
Let's see here. Yeah, let me see if I can find one. I mean, there could be a secret room there. So you see how these have these red outlines?
Yeah.
You know that
They
can't be
cannot
a
share
secret
the
room.
same exactly. They can't share the same
so
space.
it implicitly gives you information about secret rooms.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's really
So this
useful to
could
hold
be
on
one
to.
here.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just kind of nice. It just passively gives you information while
Knowledge
you
is
wait till
power.
you-
This is a knowledge run. So much, so much information.
Yep.
Oh, let's go.
We're fed with information right now.
Oh man, I was gonna segue way earlier, Richard, when you were talking about like not to defend corporations. I had a segue to the Amazon Prime telemedicine service because we had a similar thought on that.
The lesser of two evils.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, and I don't really know the details of this, I just got like an email from Amazon. I guess probably everyone who's on Amazon Prime got an email from Amazon, unless you've unsubscribed, that Amazon is offering telemedicine services now for Prime users. This is a horrible room. What is going on here?
Yeah, I know.
It's
Well, we have the
terrible vibes.
so the champions belt has increased spawn rate for champions. So that's in
Yeah.
large part why it spawns so many baddies in there. Or not the quantity, but the
and it's just an
quality.
awkward room to get a bunch of champions in.
Exactly.
But yeah, anyways, so Amazon's doing telemedicine now, which is like, just optically speaking, just horrible. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm gonna entrust Bezos with my health. But then I was like looking at the email because I thought it was a little interesting that Amazon would like have the audacity to like do Amazon branded telemedicine. And then it was like what, like $25 a month or something?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I
I
didn't
was
look
like-
at the pricing, but it was like crazy affordable.
Yeah, I was like, this is definitely like the cheapest telemedicine service I've ever seen. And it's probably because it's like a loss leader or something, right? Like Amazon's just subsidizing it. I can't imagine that's making them money, charging so little for telemedicine services. But it's like, okay, this is actually kind of affordable. And when US healthcare is so shitty, it's like actually kind of not the worst.
Yeah, totally.
But then you're like, but it's Amazon. But I wouldn't fault somebody for using the Amazon telemedicine. I wouldn't be like, oh, what are you doing supporting Amazon? They're like gonna data mine you or whatever. Um, it's just cheaper.
They're just trying to get healthcare.
Yeah.
Ev, when you get the chance, you missed a secret room.
Oh, well, thank you.
Nice catch. Yeah, Richard,
Yeah,
I'm kind of
Oh, go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm distracting you from your typical Binding of Isaac duties of dusting minor misses.
That
It
is,
keeps
yeah.
me in check for sure.
Yeah.
So I've watched so much Northern Lion and watched so many hours of Binding of Isaac content. Binding of Isaac content it's not even my second screen activity because I give it my full attention.
Yeah, you gotta be locked in if you're watching Binding
I'm
of
locked
Isaac.
in. And so as a result, I have a lot of game knowledge. And honestly, I've played a good amount of Binding of Isaac. Not like the newer one, but I've watched...
Yeah.
Oh, go on.
Let me put it this way, Richard. For how many hours you have in the game, you punch way above your weight. Strictly because I think you have so many cognitive hours in the game thinking about it that you're just you through osmosis your decision making and stuff is just way higher quality than anybody else who would have the same amount of playtime.
It's like you get a guy. It's like you get someone who has watched just thousands of hours of curling, but they've only played it a couple of times.
Yeah.
And then when they get on the court, they're actually or when they get on the ring, they're actually not half bad. And you're like, how did this happen? And it's
yeah.
because this person has watched so much. Also, that was great luck at the Devil Beggar. Your hearts kept on getting replenished, so you're able to just play it very simply.
Yeah, so we had actually a lot of hearts around, but with the item that we started with, the glass shard, it significantly increases our chance of dropping red hearts whenever we take damage.
Ooh.
So it synergizes with the Devil Beggar.
I'm a glass shard enjoyer. If we have a lot of soul
I
hearts.
I actually hate the glass shard. I think it's an
Does it
atrocious
override the soul hearts in the item pool?
Well, yeah. So the downside of it is that if you take damage, it does not override them. But if you take damage, you'll start bleeding. You might have seen that earlier. And you won't stop bleeding until you either run out of red hearts, or you pick
for
up
the
a
floor
red heart.
or in the room.
No, indefinitely.
You just keep bleeding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hence why I'm not a fan of the item. But if you have soul hearts like we do right now, it's not really a threat. But if you don't have any soul hearts and you actually get hit, you're kind of at the mercy of it actually dropping a soul heart. And I don't remember if it stops if you don't have any red hearts. If it stops at half a heart, I don't actually know off the top of my head. But
yum heart.
it's a bad
It's
vibe.
a red heart run. You have one red heart.
I wish.
Richard, I swear you were talking about something earlier, and then we spun off into a tangent.
Oh, I don't think it was anything too important. I guess I just want to talk a little. So the Amazon telemedicine.
Oh, that's
it's
right.
just
That's what we're talking
it's
about.
just so interesting to me because it feels so wrong. You're like, oh, this is so late stage capitalism, and it is. Don't get me wrong, it feels very late stage capital-y, but you have to look at our current environment we're in, and any EU listeners, you can't relate to this, I'm sure. But in America,
actually, though,
in America with our healthcare system and stuff, I imagine a lot of people, even if you're on the lower end of income, a lot of people might still have an Amazon subscription because I think I need to go back and look at the statistics for this, but it has some of the highest percentages of EBT spend in America. It's pretty
EDT.
crazy.
What's that stand for?
EBT.
EBT.
What? Yeah.
B de burro or B de vaca?
EBT. What is EBT? The SNAP EBT, like the benefits, electronic
Oh.
benefit
Stamps?
transfer.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it,
like-
got it.
Yeah, so like a lot of EBT money is redeemed on Amazon. Let me. Yeah,
You're, like
and
cashing
so
in on the Nerds Gummy Cluster Loss Leader discount.
I don't know I don't know what how the
Yeah, just-
restrictions work.
Yeah.
My guess would be in more liberal states they let you like spend your SNAP money on candy, and in more conservative states they like might force you to like can only get like chicken and like
Yeah, that's
eggs
usually
and
how it
stuff.
works.
Yeah, so there's interesting limits and stuff, but taking advantage of telemedicine, like just think about how many people suffer and go through pain because they can't afford a doctor's visit, and all of our medicine is gated behind prescription in America.
Mhm.
And it's just having that access at your disposal is just so much
Do you-
cheaper than a
Do
doctor's
you think you can get a script through Amazon telemedicine? You think that?
I mean,
would be
I
possible.
have gotten many scripts through my telemedicine provider. I don't know why Amazon's would be different.
Yeah. I guess if they have physicians,
Amazon
on deck.
telemedicine, can they prescribe? Let's see.
Yeah, I'm actually curious what they even offer. I don't know if it's like Aflac or if it's like Amica. I don't know. I went with an insurance analogy there. Dude, did you guys know this? This is a quick tangent. Did you know that Aflac is insurance for your insurance?
Yes.
Did you know that's what it is?
What?
Yes.
I didn't
was
know this
shocked when I
for
found that
most
out.
of my life. Yeah. It's insurance for when your insurance doesn't cover what you think it's gonna cover.
It sounds very American.
Isn't that insane?
Wait, Harrison.
Yeah.
So yes, they can prescribe medicine. It's just like it just depends on if your insurance covers it. But Amazon also offers Amazon Pharmacy. I think they have for a while now.
Really?
And so you can get cheaper medicines than like in CVS, for example, or other spots, like from Amazon.
Dude, I gotta try and get like what's it called? The what is it when a medicine doesn't have a name?
Generics?
Yeah, I gotta
Generic
get some like generic Adderall or something through the Amazon telemedicine.
Yeah, I'm curious if they
You
have
might be able to.
Yeah.
Amazon Pharmacy Adderall. Narcotics such as oxycodone and non-narcotic medicines like Adderall aren't available.
That makes sense. It's like a controlled substance or whatever still.
But wait, I'm so confused because there's a page for it on Amazon Pharmacy. But maybe this looks like it's just like information about it.
Can you buy
interesting.
alcohol on Amazon Prime?
I'm not sure.
I honestly don't have a clue.
Cause like, how are they gonna card you? But I don't know. Cause I know
There's
Canada,
plenty of places you
Amazon
can order
telemedicine.
alcohol online.
Yeah, that is a thing.
I think your account just needs to be verified or something.
I guess if like you put your SSN in there somewhere, they can check real easy if you're of age.
Wait, this is crazy. So, Amazon has a thing called One Medical, which is like... I'm trying to understand how it works, how it differs, but this is different than telemedicine. It's you pay $100 a year to maybe get like better access to doctors' offices.
It's like a TSA pre-check for the hospital.
Skip the waiting room.
It's like Amazon primary care. It's
So
not
you're like
just
PPO
telemedicine.
is Amazon?
Yeah. How interesting.
That is interesting.
For $9 a month.
Wow, they are really working to inch their way into every facet of life, huh?
Yeah, they also deal with mental health.
That's crazy.
And you can add family members for only $6 a month. I guess it's just like, I'm so confused. This all sounds really nice, but when you think about Amazon's MO and how poorly they treat all of their people, I'm skeptical. I'm incredibly skeptical.
I think that's the default. You know, I think here I'm gonna call my shot right now. In some time between 1 to 5 years, there's going to be some kind of hold Amazon just canceling the program. There's going to be some kind of scandal. It's going to be like a data privacy thing or something, or like a bad care thing related to the telemedicine. It's inevitable, and I think here's the reason why. Whether or not the telemedicine service actually is good or bad, there's going to be faults to it one way or another. And I think that people are just the natural arc of the narrative when I say Amazon Prime telemedicine is your brain goes, "Oh, okay. Something bad will happen."
Yeah.
And so the second something has the semblance of something bad happening, people are going to report on it because that fulfills the arc of the narrative. I think this is exactly what happened to BetterHelp. I think BetterHelp was like suspicious on arrival. Then they legitimately like just completely choked data privacy for their customers, as well as like mistreating the / like not like being a good workspace for the therapists and stuff they employ, and being a very spotty experience for customers. Like BetterHelp, the writing was on the wall. Unless BetterHelp executed with like perfect like execution, like they just did everything right, it was inevitable that people were going to start thinking about them as like a shitty evil company. Because if you're profiting off of mental health, that's like the expectation that people are going to have.
Yeah. It's kind of like manifesting your destiny.
Yeah. If you make it easy for people to vilify you, they will. And it's not even like unfounded either.
I think that's a reasonable take.
Yeah. Anytime I see like a BetterHelp sponsorship on a video, the top comment of that video is always like, BetterHelp is evil. Fuck BetterHelp. Without fail.
Yeah, the YouTube community is like, I'm disappointed you took the sponsorship.
Yeah, it's like probably one of the most taboo sponsors that you can take for how much BetterHelp at the end of the day is a legitimate company. It's just not like a squeaky clean company.
So Rez, would you rather take a Raid Shadow Legends or a BetterHelp?
Ooh, so optically I think Raid is way less bad, but practically speaking, I think Raid is much closer to Blood Money than BetterHelp is. So I would rather. Oh, I guess I didn't answer the question. I think I would take the Raid over the BetterHelp, but I actually think that the BetterHelp would be more of a net positive to the world. Whether or not it is a net positive at all is up in the air, but I think it's just the EV is higher on BetterHelp than it is for Raid.
Even if both of them are negative.
Even if both of them are negative, yeah. And I did take a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship, but you know, they never asked for it again, which leads me to believe that it probably had really poor activation rates, which is kind of exactly what I wanted. Raid is never going to listen to this podcast, but like, that's kind of a dream scenario for that kind of sponsor, is they give you their money and they fail to exploit your audience.
Perfect.
All right. I got another segue. Speaking of blood money, I have a take about watching sports and gambling that is not about sports gambling.
Okay.
I believe that watching sports is gambling. Are you following me?
Continue.
Like, as in, it has like you're an uncertain outcome, and you're investing your time.
Yeah, you don't pay with money, except when you do it. If you attend a sporting event, you do pay with your money. But what you pay is your emotional energy, and the more you put up the more you put up to stake. Is that the term? The more you put up on stake, yeah, like the more emotionally invested you are in the team, the more it hurts when they lose, the better it feels when they win.
Yeah.
I've had this like mindset about sports ever since I started watching basketball, because I realized that if I want to go to a Bulls game at the United Center, it feels a little bit like I'm buying a mini lottery ticket, because there's two outcomes. The Bulls win or the Bulls lose. And I am markedly more happy and had a better time in the outcome where the Bulls win.
Yeah.
I've had this happen. I went to see a Bulls versus Phoenix Sun game. The Phoenix Suns crushed the Bulls, and the experience was okay. It was mid.
Right.
I went to a Bulls game where they played against the Hawks. Shit went into overtime. Bulls won, like by one possession, right? So like one basket. Crowd was going crazy. I had like a insane head rush from the adrenaline. I felt amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't know which experience I'm getting when I buy the ticket. I could get the shitty, horrible, not horrible. I could get the mid experience, or I could get the I could get the amazing experience. And the beautiful thing is that it's on a normal distribution. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Evan
it
and
is
I,
good.
when I was back visiting Seattle, Evan and I went to a Mariners game where they won on a walk-off.
Oh, the Grand Slam.
A walk-off grand slam.
Yeah, that's so fucking sick.
Yeah, it was incredible, and it was amazing. It was a huge win. It was just, I don't know how to describe it. It
Epic?
reminded me, yeah, it was epic. But it also just reminded me of just how nothing really hits as nice as like a sports win does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the key, especially with a team like the Mariners, who have been known to consistently fumble the bag, is I've been trying to be an enlightened Mariners watcher. I used to watch every single game, and win or lose, I would check out the game thread, and I would like. Now, if the Mariners lose or are in a really bad losing position, and sure, you can call me a fair weather fan, whatever, like, but I won't check out the game thread after. I'll only check out the game thread after wins, because the vibes are just erosive and painful in the game threads where we lose.
Yeah. The
and
Mariners
I'm like,
they're not on a good arc for handling losses right now.
No. And it reminded me, I was like, wait, why am I doing something that doesn't spark joy in my life? So I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to watch a loss. Like, I'm happy, but I don't need it if it's like,
you don't need to wallow.
I don't need to wallow. And if I'm not enjoying these game threads and I'm just like, man, this is feeling really bad, I don't need to participate in that. I can just observe the hypermania like that happens after every win instead.
Dude, yeah. Oh, here's another component of sports being the same as gambling. And I think this isn't just sports, it's like all competitive games. Dude, when Mango won Smash Summit, I think it was 11, the one where he beat Zane, I was losing my shit watching that tournament. because Mango was not supposed to win that tournament, and then he won against all the odds. I remember, like,
and you're a noted like Zane like fanboy. Too.
Yeah, I do love Zane. But I like I'm not gonna lie, I like a Mango win more than a Zane win, and Zane's like my favorite player. It's just when Mango wins, it feels so good.
It just feels right.
Yeah, he makes it. It always goes well. Like you don't see Mango fluke his way into wins or anything. He always has to work for it in some weird way. But yeah, that tournament, because it was running late. It was on Pacific time, and I'm just like watching the grand finals. And for like the entire duration of the grand finals, I had like my hands on like my head. Like I was just like standing in the middle of my living room watching it on the TV. What was I gonna say? Oh, the thing that's like also like gambling is I would argue that the joy of sports or competitive events is it's zero-sum joy. Someone loses for you to feel good. There's an emotional vampirism aspect of it.
It's true.
And to be honest, it's horrible that it works this way, but the more distraught and salty the enemy team is, I shouldn't say enemy team, that's a very hostile word. But yeah, the more upset the opponent team is, the opponent's fans are, the better it feels. It just that's how it works. when the Phoenix Suns close their subreddit after getting like washed in the
they blow
Western
a
Conference
massive lead.
Yeah.
Too?
They didn't really have a lead at all. What happened was they were like losing by like 30 points or something by a half.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Yeah.
Like they had lost the game before the game was over, and then proceeded to lose the game
like never,
even harder.
Yeah, it was never competitive. Yeah.
Yeah. But like them closing the subreddit and making it private made the sweetness of the victory. Who was it even? The Mavs? I think it's Mavs. I can't even remember. Those fans, they shouldn't have done that, or maybe it's fine, but they made the win sweeter. Because it's funny and it adds to the narrative and the joy of the Schadenfreude, dude. You're like, dude, they were so like upset, and they said, oh, people were like brigading and stuff, and that is probably true, and it's valid to want to like shut down really antagonistic behavior, but it's also just funny, like. But
that's how you let the terrorist win.
Yeah. Your team lost so hard that you just like shut it all down. Oh my gosh. Oh man, we're reaching the end of this run. Nice win. This was smooth sailing, huh? After we hit the critical mass.
Yeah, it took a little bit to get there. It's a little bit of a slow start, but
it was a slow start that was made even slower by the fact that we wasted the bomb trying to access the reroll machine, which kind of which hurt, which definitely set us back early on these early game resources.
It hurt morale for sure.
Yeah, bad vibe.
Nice win, Ev. Nice.
But we got the dub. We got the dub.
You know that was a clean win because the spectators didn't need to lock in. Like if it's a tight game, we have to lock in as the people watching, because we have to be mindful of how we affect the run.
Yeah.
But this one we just got the chat. It's like right. Have you ever heard that thing? It's like if you talk to a driver while you're in the car, it's like significantly safer than talking to a driver over the phone. Because if you're in the car, you're also paying attention to the road, and you adjust how you talk to the driver based on like the danger of the environment. Versus on the phone, you don't.
Wow, that's like true. That. I never thought about that.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, nice run, Ev. Thanks for giving us some Binding of Isaac to talk to. Thank you.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us as well, Richard. And thank you for joining us, viewers. Man, that went super fast. I know this is shorter than a normal episode, but watching Boy, it's like just lubrication for yapping.
Lubrication for conversation.
Yeah, my brain just shuts off and watches Binding of Isaac. Literally 99.5% of the time results in a win.
I think that's why Northern Lion is so popular, was because he got his
Yeah.
start on Binding of Isaac.
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
he never plays it anymore because he played it for so long.
Yeah, he played it again
True.
for a
Alright.
little bit, but he's out.
True.
But anyways, yeah. Thanks for watching the episode. And as always, goodbye. No.
Goodbye, no.
Goodbye, no.